sports. If you're hosting your mates on game day, then I have a menu for you that's easy, delicious, and will keep you out of the kitchen so you don't miss a single commercial. This is gonna be delicious, so skip those frozen nuggies and let's get stuck in. Go team. Now I am super excited today because I am making my favorite snacks when I wanna watch sports. Now how do we make sure we don't miss a single play when we watch the Seattle Seahawks versus the New England Patriots this weekend? Preparation. First up, we're gonna make a muffuletta, and I'll tell you why. Because you can make this up to the day before if you want. 2 or 3 hours, no problem. In fact, 3 or 4 hours in the fridge is actually better for the sandwich, I think. So this is one of my focaccias. There's a video for focaccia on my page. Go watch it after you watch this video, because if you click away now, you destroy the algorithm. This video won't get shared and your mates won't get to eat delicious snacks. So we're gonna cut this in half. Use 2 things you can do. You can just kind of push it down a bit. Some people rip it out. I feel like that's kind of it's not good. You spent time making this, so don't destroy it. So we'll put that aside for the time being. And now we're gonna make our olive salad. So in a bowl, we're gonna add giardiniera, Kalamata olives, and then I've got some green olives. I'm gonna half these green olives as well. Then we most definitely do not need to season this salad with salt, but we will add a little bit of olive oil and red wine vinegar. Give it a mix. Oh, there's a little sneaky big yellow pepper. Might need to cut that up a bit. All right, we've got some roasted red capsicums here, or red peppers, like jarred ones. We're just gonna open them up. We're not gonna slice them. We're gonna put a layer of them whole. Then we're gonna slice some provolone cheese, nice and thin. I like using a peeler. And then the meat. Now you can kind of use whatever cold cuts you want. Mortadella works really well, but today we're using some leg ham, some spicy salami, prosciutto, and capicola. I think this is probably one of my favorites, so we'll definitely use this. Time to assemble. Starting at the bottom, we're gonna have a half of the olive salad. Next, we add half the cheese. Time for our meat. Leg ham, prosciutto, salami, coppa, red peppers, cheese. Rest of our salad. Ooh, come back. Time to top. Look at that. That's a sandwich that'll feed 12 pretty comfortably. Time to wrap. So we use cling film, and we need to get it as tight as we can. So pull some cling film out, place it in the center, and over it goes. Press down, toit like a toiger. Back the other way, one more time for good luck. It's really important that you get this as tight as you can, and that'll just help it all stay together when we do cut it. We're gonna put this in the fridge for an hour, 2 hours at a minimum, but 6 or 8 hours is even better. We're gonna put something heavy on the top. What that's gonna do is just compact everything down and make it look really nice and clean when we cut it, and make it easy to eat. So to start, we're gonna have some fried food, because I love fried food. We're gonna have Nashville tenders and some corn dogs or dippy dogs. I love them. Kind of my guilty pleasure. We're actually gonna make those last, so it's the first thing we eat once your mates get here. Then we're gonna eat the muffuletta at halftime, and finally we'll finish with some brown butter caramel popcorn, which will be good to go. So if you're angry or if you're happy about your team winning, you don't have to do any more cooking. First things first, let's get that popcorn popping. So just like you normally would, about half a tablespoon of peanut oil. Once it's hot, add your popping corn, give it a shake, and wait. All right, we let that cool down a little bit. While that's cooling, we're gonna make our caramel. So, to a saucepan, butter. We're making beurre noisette here. We're not making black butter, we're making brown butter. While that's browning, we're gonna cut open 1 vanilla pod and take the seeds out. All right, once we've got like a nice golden color, we're gonna add a big pinch of salt, and really carefully add our sugar, maple syrup, and our vanilla beans. We're also gonna put the pod in there for good luck. So we're gonna bring this to a simmer. I'm gonna cook it for about 4 minutes. And it's better that you keep stirring the whole time. After 4 minutes, you're gonna really carefully add the water and then the bicarb soda. Stir continuously once the bicarb soda's in, and it should go like a light tan color. Immediately pour over our popcorn, and then using a spoon, start mixing. You wanna try and get it even across all the popcorn. Oh my gosh, it smells insanely good. At this point, I'm gonna give it another little sprinkle of salt just to really bring those kind of nutty flavors out from the burnt butter. Then, got a couple of lined trays. You can do it on one if you can fit it all in one, but you just want to evenly spread it across your trays. Pull your vanilla pods out if you've used them. So then we're going to put it into a 120-degree oven for 40 minutes, and we're going to stir it and break it up every 10 minutes. And I promise you, that'll probably be the best popcorn of your life. All right, while our popcorn's in the oven, we'll use that time wisely. We're gonna marinate our chicken tenders for our Nashville fried tenders. So in a bowl, we're gonna add buttermilk, water, cayenne, garlic powder, salt, pepper, 1 egg, and some vinegar-based hot sauce. Give it a mix. As always, recipes are linked in the description below. Add your tenders, make sure they're well incorporated. Cover it with cling film in the fridge for at least 2 hours, 4, 5 hours, not a problem at all. All right, now don't forget about your popcorn, but we are gonna start making the Cowboy Caviar. Now why it's called Cowboy Caviar, I have no idea. The internet says apparently it's because Cowboys thinks it looks like caviar. Doesn't make any sense to me, but anyway, it's delicious. It's basically like a, kind of similar to a pico de gallo, like a tomatoey salsa, but with some beans in it. We're gonna use some corn, so we're gonna peel the outside part of the corn cob, leaving just like 1 or 2 layers. Then we'll grill the corn over the char grill. If you don't have one of these lined char grill pans, you can just do it straight onto a hot pan. So these are just canned black beans. We're gonna drain them and rinse them off. So you're gonna take cherry tomatoes and cut them into quarters. You take 1 red onion, peel it, take the ends off, and give it a dice. 1 jalapeno, we're gonna dice that nice and fine as well. We're gonna leave the seeds in this time. Next, you're gonna take 1 red capsicum or bell pepper and dice that also. All right, that's 40 minutes. It smells incredible. Lovely light golden color. It's gonna leave this on the bench to cool before we put it in a bowl, ready for when we're looking for something sweet a bit later on to celebrate. Take 1 firm avocado and dice it. You don't want one that's too mushy or it will just turn into the dressing. So once your corn's kind of cooked, and you can tell it's cooked or getting cooked by the change of color, it goes like a brighter yellow. Just peel the rest of those husks off and all that stringy stuff. Just like a really small amount of olive oil and back on the grill. And a little bit of oil is just gonna help conduct heat and get a lot more char on it quickly. Then we take 1 small bunch of coriander or cilantro, and we're gonna cut it nice and thin, stems and leaves. Okay, so for our corn, we're just gonna simply cut the kernels off the cob and watch them go everywhere. Just make sure that the kernels are all individual and broken up. So to season it, we're gonna add the zest and juice of 2 limes, a couple of tablespoons of olive oil, big pinch of salt, some black pepper, and then tahini, about a tablespoon tahini. We're gonna mix it all carefully. We're gonna do it carefully because we don't want to completely mush up our avocado. Funny looking caviar. Wouldn't be sports without dad jokes, would it? Cool, you can leave that in the fridge for like 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, no problem. Next up, we need something to serve with our Cowboy Caviar. Now you can just buy some nice quality corn chips, no issue there at all, or you can be fancy like I am and we'll make our own. I'll show you how, it's super easy. So these are white corn tortillas. You can use yellow corn tortillas as well, that doesn't matter. We're gonna cut them in half and then cut them 2 more times. Corn chips. Not yet, that's a lie. That's not corn chips yet, they're just tortillas still, just cut into triangles. Neutral flavored oil, we're gonna need this anyway for our frying part. Before someone asks, and someone will 100% will ask in the comments, you can do these in an air fryer too. It just takes a while because you can only do like 1 layer at a time. So oil at 160 degrees. We're gonna fry them for like 30 seconds each side till they're nice and crisp. Pull them out, place them onto a tray. It's got a wire rack on top of it and season it lightly with salt. I do fully understand that this is kind of a pain to make your own corn chips, but they are a lot better. And the only reason I am suggesting it is because you do have this big pot of oil here anyway to do the fried chicken. So don't be in the comments, I don't have time for that. All right, that's our corn chips done. I'll leave those at the back to chill out. Let's do a quick recap of where we're at. All right, my mates are about to show up. We've got some oil on. That's ready to go for our fried stuff. We just need to finish off our oil for our tenders and make the flour for that as well. We make our batter for our hot dogs. Once we've made those 3 things, we'll start plating up food. But first of all, the oil. So I've got some lard here. We're gonna put that on a low heat and let that come up to about 160 degrees Celsius. So we're gonna turn the heat off and we're gonna really carefully add our spices. So we've got black pepper, smoked paprika, just add a little bit at a time if you're worried about it boiling over. Brown sugar, and a metric ton of cayenne. Give it a mix so it's all nicely dissolved and we'll set it aside. All right, we're gonna tray to flour our chicken in. So we're gonna add the flour, pepper, salt, cayenne, and garlic powder. Give that a nice little mix. We've got our marinated tenders. I'm gonna add a couple of spoons of our buttermilk mixture to the flour. What this does is gives us some nice lumpy bits that help us kind of get a nice crispy, or lots of that good delicious coating on the outside. Tenders out and into the flour, and then flip them over. Make sure they're well coated in flour, and then we're gonna leave them to the side. You know, they put them back in the fridge, we'll just leave them out at room temperature for like 30 minutes for that flour to really hydrate. All right, next up, we're gonna make our batter for our corn dogs. We're gonna do like a Korean style, so it doesn't actually use any corn flour. We're gonna use wheat flour. We are gonna dip it in panko though, and I like it because I think you get a better crust. So warm water, yeast, sugar. Give that a whisk. Flour. Just whisk till combined. So then we're gonna pour it back into this tall jar. This is kind of an ideal scenario. If you don't have a jar like this size, you can do it straight from this bowl. It just kind of makes it easier, and you'll see why in a minute. Now this is a yeasted dough, so we're just gonna let this sit there for like 20 minutes, just for the yeast to start activating. And in the meantime, we can get our little sausages on skewers, and then we can start frying our chicken. So these down here in Australia and New Zealand are called frankfurters or Cheerios. So they're actually already cooked, so you don't need to stress too much. You know, they're not as like high risk. You do want them hot once you cook them, but that'll happen once we've battered them and put them in the oil. So we've just got some panko on a tray here. That's ready for once it comes out of the batter before it goes in the fryer. We'll leave those to one side. So our chicken's ready to fry. Our corn dogs are corn dogs are ready to fry. Let's get our caviar plated up, ready for the team when they get here. It's probably the world's biggest flex, being able to say, oh no, I make my own corn chips. We all want to impress our mates, don't we? We better make sure it's all right before the homies taste it. Also, that's the only acceptable amount of dip on this chip. All right, it's time to fry our chicken. We've got our oil ready at 165 degrees Celsius. We've got some white bread to put it on and some pickles. We've got our spicy oil to pour over. Let's get frying. In they go. They're gonna take about 6 or 7 minutes. No one comment. Just gonna give it a color and they're good to go. Right, it's important that we get these covered in this lovely spicy oil while they're still hot. That way they'll absorb the fat, but they won't like go soggy. Little pickle on top. Mate, if I showed up at someone's house to watch football and they gave me one of those, I would be a happy man. All right, time to fry our dogs. Temperature is coming down to 160 now. So we take our batter, look how much that's risen. It's like more than doubled. I want to make sure that these are dry. If they've got moisture on them, the batter's going to struggle to stick. So in it goes, all the way to the bottom, come out, excess off, straight into the panko. In Korea, they often put little bits of potato on it, which is delicious, but it's a real pain to do at home. Definitely possible, but a pain. Straight into your oil. Don't release it until it's started to set. So give it like 20 seconds before you release it. If you do just release it, what's going to happen is it's going to sink straight to the bottom and stick to the bottom. So after about 4 or 5 minutes, you're gonna wanna roll them over so that they get brown on all sides. So to finish these, really simply, line them all up together, then load it up with ketchup first, and then American yellow mustard. Into a serving dish. Look at that, who doesn't wanna eat one of those? All right, picture this, it's halftime, your team's up, everyone's happy, everyone's jolly, they've had some food, but they haven't had anything substantial yet, and then you pull out this. All right, you can cut this up into as many pieces as you want, but I reckon 12? Pretty good looking sandwich if you ask me. All right, the game's almost over. Your team's taken out the win and you want to give your mates a little sweet treat. Well, lucky, we made some delicious caramel popcorn. I think the reality is by this point in the day, everyone's had a couple of bevies, a whole bunch of fried food. A dessert any more lavish than this and probably not gonna get eaten. And the beautiful thing about this is if you put it out and no one touches it, you got a great snack for the rest of the week in your pantry. So put these out and there you go, that's the entire spread. But let's have a taste. Cowboy Caviar is delicious, full of flavor, a little bit of spice, homemade corn chips, an absolute trick. Well, I guess I have to try some fried chicken. Juicy, spicy, a little bit of sweetness that comes through, delicious. All right, one of my guilty pleasures, the corn dog. The texture of the dog's great, lovely crunchiness on the outside, and you can't beat that mustard and ketchup. The sandwich of all sandwiches. Olive salad really carries that. Don't get me wrong, all those sliced meats are delicious, but that giardiniera, especially after all that fatty food, cuts through it really nicely. And some caramel popcorn, there's no way this doesn't taste good. It's yummy, and the caramel doesn't stick to your teeth like it does in the movie theaters. It's like lovely and sweet, got the nice vanilla flavor through there, and a little bit of salt, delicious. Good luck to your team on their big game. Thanks very much for watching, legends. We'll see you next week for another recipe. Peace.